Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from Newslaundry.
Welcome to Newslaundry Chhota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. Newslaundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a Newslaundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. Welcome to another episode of Hafta from a Delhi that had double digits AQI, which is rare and exhilarating for us. I was dancing like a peacock in the morning in the rain. I mean, like a peacock in the rain, not that it was raining, although it did rain. So congratulations to everybody who made it happen, which is pretty much the gods. Because there was breeze, thunder and rain. So no one can take credit.
Actually, Supreme Court ने भी जो गाली मारा ना,
उससे भी फर्क पड़ा.
उससे भी शायद फर्क पड़ा.
You were talking about those lords. I was talking about the real lords.
Okay, yeah.
You were talking about my lords. I've got everyone's lords. So today on the Hafta, before I go in and introduce, we have a guest who I'm very excited to speak with, who has made in a very short time a huge bang in the news space. He has fired, I'm using puns, he has fired all sorts of news, breaking news, and his news has been ricocheted by various other Twitter handles, and there has been any more gun puns that I've missed out? No. And it has been, and he's been reporting news faster than a speeding bullet.
But Katta doesn't mean that in Marathi. You should ask him what it means.
Oh shit, so I've done the wrong puns.
Yeah.
I was punning on Katta news. Okay, so we have...
because it was a Katta is a gun.
Katta is a gun in
but
UP.
in Marathi, he's from
So
it's
first
Marathi.
let me introduce Sudhir. We have with us Sudhir Suryawanshi. So first of all, before I introduce you, your name here has been given as two different names, Sudhir Suryawanshi and Sudhir Raghuvanshi. So what is it actually?
Suryawanshi only. When the Ram was there, that time Raghuvanshi, but it turned out to be Suryawanshi.
Okay, so we have with us Sudhir Suryawanshi, who finally, it appears, is from the Suryavansh and not the Raghuvansh. He's a Mumbai-based journalist. He has in the last 15 years reported on agriculture, housing, real estate, and he has worked with DNA. He is the man behind Katta News, an online portal that garnered a lot of attention for its Maharashtra politics. They were getting scoops and information that no one was getting. And right now, you don't even have a website, Sudhir. It was just a Twitter handle which was giving this news. So first of all, I've just been told that all my Katta puns about guns and speeding bullets and breaking news and ricocheting are all wrong because Katta does not mean gun in Marathi.
No, it doesn't.
So what? It's meaning that corner where the all people like generally it's old Marathi word where all village people come together after having lunch or dinner in the evening. And they chats about all village gossips and everything, where all news breaks comes out. All national, international issues has been discussed there.
तो
It's a talking point, a gossiping point, like a corner.
तो जिसको हिंदी में नुक्कड़ कहते हैं, जैसे नुक्कड़ कहते हैं हिंदी में, नुक्कड़ पे बैठे हैं सब बातचीत कर रहे हैं. Same, नुक्कड़, right?
Yeah.
नुक्कड़ करेक्ट. नाका बोलते बॉम्बे में फेमस है नाका
करेक्ट. हाँ.
In Bangla, it's Adda Marchi.
अड्डा माची. चलो ठीक है. So also on the panel with us
Today's gossip is tomorrow's news. Like Gokul
Raman
says.
Kripal, our own managing editor. We have Manisha Pande.
Hi,
sir. How are you, sir? After a long time.
So did you work together or not? Did you work with Raman?
Yes,
sir?
Yes. He was my boss.
He was your boss, right?
Hi, Sudhir. Oh, acha. I was not able to place him. Yes. He was my political
He was your
editor.
So he was saying you were his political editor?
Political reporter.
Political reporter. Then we have Manisha Pande, our in-house star.
hello.
Who also worked with DNA.
Who also
Yes.
worked at DNA.
Hello.
And so
worked
that is
with DNA.
Manisha, Sudhir. I don't know whether you have met each other.
Hi.
And we have joining us other in-house Marathi, Meghnad Sahastra Bhojani.
Thanks for mispronouncing it. I'm not telling you my real last
You're not
name
telling
now.
your real okay.
I'm insulted.
Who is from Nagpur.
Yes. Namaskar sir, kashe?
Okay.
Majama, kem cho?
Namaskar.
Okay, I got the language wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't display any Marathi this thing in you, yeah?
Yeah, I'm proper Bengali
What
fight
are you
now.
saying? Have you heard when that
he's funny.
na 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 nagadi na na pani dim? Have you seen him start dancing immediately when it plays? He suddenly gets up and
दादा कौन के साथ
Dada could
ढगाला लागली कळ पाणी थिम थिम
yeah.
सेम घर
So, before we get the headlines from wonderful Manisha, I have an appeal. Do pay to keep news free. When the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Unless you support independent media, news will die and it will not serve you. It will support those whose big mugshots you see on the front pages of newspapers and in television. These days, the flavor of the advertising world is Arvind Kejriwal, who's up there on every page. In a few months, it will be Mr. Modi and Mr. Gandhi. Sometimes it is Mukesh and Dhirubhai. So remember, when you look at the news and say, oh yeah, what kind of news is this? Well, don't complain because you didn't pay for it, right? So suck it up, dear. On that note, Manisha, what do we have on headlines?
Maharashtra political crisis turmoil has finally come to an end. The state has a chief minister in the face of Uddhav Thackeray. He was sworn in. In the middle, there was this whole thing about Ajit Pawar, who joined the BJP for like 3-4 days, but then he came back again to the NCP and said, "Main wapas aa gaya hu." So you have a government with NCP, Shiv Sena and Congress coming together, very unlikely allies. And they've come out with their common man program also, which is going to focus on farmers, and they've kept Ayodhya and Savarkar aside for now. So yeah, Shiv Sena is probably secularizing itself. I think, we'll know more about that.
Sudhir will tell us a lot more about that. And Parliament winter session has started. Too much happening there.
Yeah.
Too many things to discuss. There are some bills to discuss. The Transgender Bill, a draft bill which isn't tabled in Parliament, the Digital Media Organization,
Citizenship.
the Citizenship Bill.
Yeah.
Registration of press, registration of periodicals bill.
Yes.
Yeah. But what made a lot of news was Sadhvi Pragya's remarks. Let's just call her Pragya Thakur. Pragya Thakur's remarks in Parliament, where she basically said Godse is a patriot in response to another speaker, and that created a lot of furor. That it also cost her post in the Defence Consultative Committee. So BJP said, as a punishment, she will be thrown out of that committee.
And as we are recording this, she was giving a statement in Parliament right now about this.
Yes. In fact, we should say we are recording this at 12:45 on Friday afternoon. So anything that happens after this will not be referred to in the
Friday,
Hafta.
the 29th of November.
Correct. And there was Ravi Shankar Prasad's statement, which I'm sure Mr. Meghnad will have lots to say about, which was the most nothing ambiguous statement, but yet proved guilt like never before.
About Pegasus.
Yes, so we shall talk about
Rajya
that as
Sabha
well.
has also passed the Transgender Rights Bill. That's creating a bit of a protest at some corners. A lot of the people aren't really happy with that. Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh said that Air India will have to close if not privatized. I wonder if I'll see this privatization in my lifetime, because we've heard so much about it. Prime Minister took a dig at the opposition, saying that people who don't like transparency don't like electoral bonds. This is contrary to everything that's come out in the news for the past 2 weeks.
Irony rushed into the well.
Yeah. And in fact, we have a very fabulous piece on this from multiple RTIs that show that the maximum number of purchase of electoral bonds is happening in Mumbai and in the denomination of 1 crore at 10 lakhs. So it's basically big industrialists buying.
And a total of 73% of all those electoral bonds happened in like a period of 2 months between the general elections.
Yeah. There's also that video of the Indian diplomat in the US that's going viral, where he talked about how Kashmiri Hindus have to assert themselves, and that basically said that Kashmir is about a Hindu nation asserting itself, and that we need an Israel-like model.
Yeah.
That was stunningly daft, I think.
I mean, I guess he didn't know someone would record and upload it. That's what happens when you hang out with NRIs. Then All India Muslim Personal Law Board to file review petition against the Supreme Court's Ayodhya verdict day after the Sunni Waqf Board's refusal. And I think they'll also say, agar tumhe land nahi chahiye, hum le lenge. Someone is saying that, na, if you don't want the 5 acres, we'll take it. And if they don't want it, we'll take it. Yeah. Office wahi banayenge.
There's also the Jharkhand elections that begin on November 30th, and results would be announced on December 23rd. The BJP in its manifesto there has said that they'll implement the NRC and rid the state of Bangladeshis. I don't even think that's a problem there. I don't know if that's a issue there.
NRC has cost them a seat in West Bengal today. In the bypass election.
Bipole, yeah. They lost all three.
They lost. And even the losing candidate, he himself said that he lost it because of the NRC.
So it's not paying the dividends they thought it would.
On the Constitution Day, women activists wanted to enter the Sabrimala temple. They were attacked with chili spray and pepper spray. Police denied them protection, so that's still going on. I don't think anyone's been arrested in this case. At least I didn't read any reports.
Not till now.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens tomorrow. So we will discuss much of that. Let's start with the Maharashtra election first of all. Sudhir, congratulations. आपने कट्टा न्यूज़ में बहुत ही फटाफट कुछ ही दिनों में यहाँ का वहाँ कर दिया. People are arguing the real Chanakya is Pawar, or is it Amit Shah, or is it Aditya Thackeray, or is it my uncle who was sitting and predicting all this? मैंने पहले बोला था. But the real Chanakya is you. Because you got the information. अब आप बताओ, first of all, आपने वेबसाइट अभी तैयार नहीं की, एक ट्विटर हैंडल से आपने धमाल मचा दिया. आपका अंदर कौन है भेदी हैं? आप ये बताइए हमें. और आगे के प्लान क्या है? कट्टा न्यूज़ का आगे नहीं, लंका नहीं ढाए, घर का भेदी मतलब कट्टा न्यूज़ बनाए एंड होप द न्यूज़ इज इंडिपेंडेंट एंड ग्रेट. तो एक तो आपका आगे का प्लान क्या है कट्टा न्यूज़ का, और महाराष्ट्र में क्या हो रहा है? व्हाट इज योर प्रेडिक्शन सिंस यू हैव योर पल्स ऑन द ग्राउंड? नहीं, ear to the ground and pulse on the, how can it be pulse on the ground?
Pulse on the ground.
I mixed up two
Pulse of the people.
Pulse, eyes, nose.
तो बताइए, प्लीज टेल अस.
नहीं क्या है, अभी महाराष्ट्र जब मैंने कट्टा न्यूज़ शुरू किया ना, आई जस्ट वांट टू टेल यू, जब डीएनए क्लोज डाउन हो गया तो सो वी वर जॉबलेस. डीएनए बंद होने के बाद में ऐसा सोचा कि 2-3 दिन में मेरा जो काम था पर्सनल, वो काम करने के बाद में आई थॉट दैट एज अ रिपोर्टर आई हैव बीन फील्ड फ्रॉम लास्ट 15 years, डन लॉट ऑफ स्टोरीज. आई वाज वर्क विद मुंबई मिरर, डीएनए, टाइम्स, देन फ्री प्रेस जर्नल. घर के बैठ के क्या करते हैं एज अ रिपोर्टर, देयर आर समथिंग बर्निंग इनसाइड यू, दैट फायर डिड नॉट अलाउ मी टू सिट आइडली. तो क्या करते थे ना, आई थॉट दैट कुछ वेबसाइट चालू कर दे. कोई बोला कि वेबसाइट को टाइम लगेगा, आप ट्विटर पे एक काम करो ना, पोस्ट करते जाओ. देन मैंने पर्सनल हैंडल से कुछ पोस्ट करना शुरू किया न्यूज, ये जो इन्फॉर्मेशन आती थी जाती थी उसको पोस्ट करना शुरू किया. देन माय फॉलोअर फ्रॉम 2000 इट टर्न आउट टू बी 5000, देन 10,000. देन वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड, अरे वो कट्टा न्यूज़ का जो तेरा प्लान है, एक ट्विटर अकाउंट ओपन कर ले. मैंने बोला मुझे नहीं आ रहा है एग्जैक्टली, पर उसने मुझे अकाउंट ओपन करके दिया. देन वो अकाउंट से मैंने जो न्यूज ब्रेक होती थी उसको पोस्ट शुरू कर दिया. न्यूज ब्रेक हर दिन का जो भी कुछ होता था इमीडिएट पोस्ट करना शुरू कर दिया. उसके में 10 दिन में उसके 15,000 फॉलोअर हो गए, वो कट्टा न्यूज डॉट अपना जो ट्विटर हैंडल है उसके ही. तो इमीडिएट, और कैसे था, बहुत ही स्टोरीज ब्रेक किया. इसकी वजह से नोबडी बिलीव. दिल्ली में, बॉम्बे में मोस्ट जो सीरियस जर्नलिस्ट, जो जर्नलिस्ट है वो जो इको चैम्बर में रहते थे, दे नेवर बिलीव कि सेना, कांग्रेस और एनसीपी का गवर्नमेंट आएगा. आई वाज द फर्स्ट पर्सन, आई ट्वीटेड बिफोर द रिजल्ट. उसमें मैं व्हेन आई मेट शरद पवार, उसमें उन्होंने एक हिंट दिया था, इफ दे डोंट गेट नंबर देन दे मे एक्सटेंड सपोर्ट टू शिवसेना, दे मे. सो द नंबर आए नहीं, तो वैसी तरह से वो चलते गए. फिर आई हैड रफ स्क्रिप्ट इन माय माइंड कि ऐसा ऐसा हो सकता है एज ए पॉलिटिकल, जो अपन क्या बोलते हैं सूझबूझ, वैसे मेरे दिमाग में थी. देन उसके हिसाब से चीज अनफोल्ड होती गई. जो अजीत पवार का जो स्टोरी था, नोबडी बिलीव, मैंने ट्वीटेड.
तो आगे का तो वो तो समझ गया कि पहले आपने वो जो हिंट दिया था, आपने वो हिंट पे आपने जो केप्ट इट, एंड उस हिंट के बेसिस पे आपने थोड़ा बहुत प्रेडिक्शन या आपने कहा कि ये अलायंस हो सकता है. लेकिन आगे जाके ऑल्सो यू गॉट अ लॉट ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन राइट एंड यू गॉट इट फर्स्ट. नाउ आपके पास तो कोई इंस्टीट्यूशनल सपोर्ट है नहीं. आप जैसे कहते हैं आपको अखबार शट डाउन हो गया, जैसे कई पत्रकारों को बेरोजगार कर दिए. लेकिन उसके बाद की इन्फॉर्मेशन कैसे आप आई? आई मीन वेयर वर यू प्लेस्ड? डिड यू हैव अदर 2-3 पीपल, और आप वन मैन शो ही यहाँ से वहाँ?
नो, मैं 2-3 नहीं था. मेरा मोबाइल ही एक मेरा सब कुछ था, इंस्टीट्यूशन था. और लेकिन दूसरी बात है कि आई हैव वेरी गुड रिलेशंस विद बेसिकली एनसीपी, कांग्रेस, शिवसेना and the BJP, and that relation helped me to get exclusive informations. I thought rather than sharing somebody, why can't I put it in my own handle? तो हैंडल एक बढ़ता है, पीपल देन टेस्ट रहती है ना, कोई टेस्ट का मिल गया, आपको चस्का मिल गया, तो लोग फॉलो होते गए वो टेस्ट का. जैसे मैंने अजीत पवार का स्टोरी ब्रेक किया, नोबडी बिलीव्ड कि अजीत पवार एनसीपी छोड़ जा सकते. लेकिन एक मेरा सोर्स है एनसीपी, उसने बताया वो जा सकता है. देन आई गॉट कॉल फ्रॉम अजीत पवार सन ऑल्सो, पार्थ पवार, नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. देन मेनी एनसीपी पीपल कॉल, नहीं फॉल्स न्यूज है, तुम्हारा क्रेडिबिलिटी चला जाएगा. सुधीर तुम तो 15 साल के जर्नलिस्ट हो, अच्छी बात नहीं है. व्हेन इट टर्न ट्रू, देन दे अगेन स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग, नहीं यार सॉरी गलती हो गया. तो ये
so but
I'm right for the information.
Sudhir, I'm thrilled that you are so upfront and open about कि उसके बेटे का फोन है, मैं कर रहा हूँ नहीं कर रहा. नहीं तो सब जो बड़े बड़े सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट जिनका मैं नाम नहीं लेना चाहता, शेखर गुप्ता, कि वो तो मैंने जैसे नहीं पता नहीं
ले लिया
वो बोलना ही मुझे पता है, मुझे सब पता है, मुझे ये भी पता है, मुझे वो भी पता है, मुझे ये भी पता है बिग बैंग से पहले क्या था. बट यू आर वेरी, बट दे डोंट टेल यू क्या पता है. यू वेरी hats off. Hopefully we shall talk, but I will give, rather than coming to the lady first, Manisha, let me come to the in-house Marathi. Yo, ding ding tada. What is your take? I mean, are you political hypocrisy side? Okay, first I just want to say one thing, that there are two things to this entire chain of events. One is the political expediency which all parties have displayed, and they say you can't call out one. Ki how did you ally with NCP and then Congress allying with Shiv Sena? That is true. But the constitutional mechanism that was completely broken down, and that's 5:37 in the morning swearing in. When he, I think 5:37 president's rule was revoked. And 8 o'clock. That entire process, I think, is a disgrace. And it has led to what? A 3-day government? It's not like you...
80 hours ka.
So I thought that was quite depressing, but you have a very critical take on all the parties involved, Meghnad.
Yeah, so the thing is that, so I have a few friends who still work with MPs in parliament, etc. So we were just meeting up, and they were telling me about how upset the Shiv Sena has been for a while. You know, like they have not been treated well in the center by the BJP. And BJP has this notorious habit of allying with people and then not treating them well, and then trampling over them and taking over their seats, right? So they were trying to do the same to Shiv Sena for a while, even in the General Assembly elections.
So these friends of yours worked with Shiv Sena MPs, so they were getting what they were hearing.
BJP MPs actually.
BJP
so
MPs.
They were telling me that our bosses haven't really treated them well. So I think Sudhir sir will be able to elaborate on that more. But other than that, it's very interesting what is going on, because Shiv Sena, all said and done, is, I feel, ideologically worse than BJP. Like, some of their views are even more radical than the BJP, and they always have been. Right from Bal Thackeray calling, main Sonia Gandhi ka hijda nahi hu types, and then they admitted to being a part of the Mumbai riots. They boasted about being a part of Babri Masjid.
They also think Godse is a patriot.
They also
They've
think
said
Godse
that.
is a patriot. Now, in all of this situation, this is what their ideology is, essentially. This is what ideology is these days. So when they ally with someone like NCP and Congress, etc., it's a little bizarre.
Not for them as it is for Congress. They've got a chief minister's seat. I mean, they should not be embarrassed. Congress should be embarrassed. Now, before I come to the emails that I want to read out, just wanted to say that, like I said, if you don't pay to keep news free, then the politicians and industrialists will. And then when the news serves them, don't complain. Right now, we have a Newslaundry Sena project that is underway. We had, I think, set up a target of about 220,000, if I'm not wrong. We've already corrected, I think, 1.5 or so.
1,75,000.
Great. So hopefully we should top it up, but we didn't wait for the whole thing to be topped up. We've sent Prateek to Telangana. He is, as we speak, reporting there. We had subscribers who have volunteered to help him out, and he's in touch with them so that they can provide whatever help and resources are on the ground. This is the kind of collaborative news model we want to create, so that news serves the public, because when the public is creating the resources to make it happen. So you can go to newslaundry.com and go to the NL Sena button and click and contribute, and let's top this up, because it costs money. Him being flown there, or like this one, Atul is going to Ayodhya on the 2nd of December. The train there, all this costs money. Him staying there for 4 or 5 days, a producer going with him, 2 cameras.
Traveling by taxi. I mean, you have to go to so many areas.
You have to have a...
That's the major expense.
Cab on standby. In fact, that's the biggest expense. So if any of you actually have a car that you can, give with a driver, that is one of the major expenses, because the reporter has to have a cab on standby. He can't say, "ठीक है, Uber बुला लूँगा जब भी अभी किसी ने बोला अभी यहाँ पर आओ." He has to be there.
And also sometimes you're traveling in villages or small towns. You don't have Uber there.
Yeah. So all this costs money. So do go to newslaundry.com NL Sena, top this up, because we want to do really kick-ass ground reports that tell the story as it is, and we're not inhibited because we are expecting a full-page ad of the very photogenic KCR or Modi or Kejriwal or anybody else. And these days, when you see the paper, you will realize why news doesn't serve you. So go to Newslaundry Sena. 48,000 TSRTC employees went on strike in early October. They were fired. Many died.
And today he's reinstating them.
He's reinstating them. He's saying, welcome back. Our reporters there will hopefully get you a whole bunch of stuff. So do contribute to Newslaundry Sena. Pay to keep news free. Because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. So don't forget that. Everything that you hear, the expertise, a lot of work goes into it. Not mine, I just pay Logyan, but all the other reporters. तो बताइए क्या हुआ? प्रज्ञा ठाकुर ने क्या बोला, किसके जवाब में बोला, और फिर सबरीमाला में क्या हुआ? मनीषा जी.
So A. Raja was speaking, and he brought up Godse, and Pragya Thakur was immediately quick to sort of cut him in. I mean, it wasn't even her turn. She just quickly heard the word Godse and said, "Patriot के बारे में बात कर रहे हो, Patriot के बारे में बात मत करो." Yeah. So that created a lot of furor because earlier she said things like Godse was a patriot, and Modi said that he'd never forgive her, and this will always remain with her, this big blunder that she's done. But she did this, and soon after that, I think about a day later, JP Nadda then said that we are very clear about condemning her statement, and we're going to get her off the parliamentary affairs.
JP Nadda is a BJP cabinet minister, for those of you listening.
Working
from the
president.
defense.
Oh, he's
the working president.
He's also the Bijli minister or something.
He's a minister as well, but he's also like...
What I find fascinating is after this, ye ho gaya, chalo, she said, and Pragya, I genuinely don't expect anything from her. I genuinely think she's not all there. Because if you read Ayush's profile, she goes into a communion with God. He has this really funny passage.
She goes into a trance.
He's a really funny passage where she was told that she should calm down on what she's saying, and she just suddenly goes silent and goes into a trance and comes back out of the trance and says, "I was speaking to God and He told me I can say what I want to say." So she's clearly...
like shopkeeper.
And even in Rahul Kanwal's interview in India Today before the elections, there was the point where she was like, "Oh, ये तो धर्म युद्ध है. जब भी अधर्म होता है तो भगवान इंसान के रूप में आता है और ये करता है." Rahul Kanwal doesn't correct her or like do a counter question, but I genuinely feel that she thinks she's a god.
She's a god.
Yeah.
Or she's like doing God's work or something. So, but after this, like the kind of justifications on supporters of Modi on right, on Twitter or on television.
Oh my God.
There's genuinely an active push now to turn the narrative on Godse as a patriot, and you can see this in the way his supporters have reacted to his...
Twitter trolls are not supporters. Any names that are of significant
I
or
think
credibility.
None of them are credible.
Listen,
but a lot of...
Abhinandan,
RSS and BJP, if you see Jansang,
Jansang.
all time Jansang
BJP is
and
old avatar.
RSS. I mean, Godse was never a traitor for them for a very, very, very long period. But when they came into the mainstream and mainstream politics, and when they realized that if they continue to consider Godse not a traitor, then they will not gain
accepted.
Much political. They won't be accepted as a political party. So I think that is why carefully they try to shun away. They do away with this.
अंदर ही अंदर
But अंदर उनका है Godse हमेशा. So I mean, all these people, if they don't think so much politically, so they are talking about it. And even the supporters of BJP and RSS, I mean, deep inside they always consider him not a traitor.
Yeah, but I get what Manisha is saying. Basically, someone tweeted, support whatever Godse, and tweeted out his letter or his will or something of the sort, which showed that he really was patriotic. I don't know, whatever it showed. And this Thakur Raj is a verified Twitter account. Sorry, not Thakur. Some Sonu or Sanu or whatever his name is, said that what he did was wrong, but you cannot question the motivation of patriotism, some shit like that. Which was basically, you don't have the nuts to say, fuck, this guy was a brave patriot, because you don't have the guts to say that. You say that was wrong, but see what a wonderful motivation he had. And that is, now I don't know if that is a position been taken by many, people with any,
often when these spokespersons like Sambit Patra have been cornered by say Kanhaiya and all to say ki bolo ki Godse, he was Rashdrohi. They don't say it.
Don't say it.
They're very, very, they'll never openly say ki...
Yeah. Sorry, his name is Sankrant Sanu.
Sankrant Sanu, yeah.
Okay.
Devdutt Patnaik, he
Oh
also
God, he's such a disappointment.
he
But
also
Devdutt Patnaik is,
he also tweeted
but
about
he's a
it.
writer. I mean, that was the most
Actually,
dumbest thing.
but I
anyone
think
could-
Devdutt Patnaik was just trying to be too clever. I mean, I don't think his tweet was
wasn't being
ideological.
clever.
It was
हाँ.
more, चलो देखो मैं कितना clever हूँ.
और मैं कितना फालतू का nuance ला सकता हूँ किसी
And
में. This
also
is not about
this,
nuance.
this is not just about Twitter trolls, by the way. Twitter trolls obviously will bakchodi karte hi rehte, but the way how news channels are now calling them on panels and normalizing whatever they're saying, that is problematic. So now Twitter trolls are just not on Twitter anymore. We have to understand that. Like they are being normalized, their views are being normalized. Panelists, while they are on panels, and I have tested this out in live. One time when this debate was going on something, I tweeted to this Priyanka Chaturvedi, who was on a panel, and she immediately used my point. And people do this, right? People are looking at Twitter all the time, and people are giving them arguments, and they're using it on live TV. So one of the arguments I also got into about Godse was with Abhijit Iyer Mitra, right? And Manisha also scolded me a lot about that. But he said that Gandhi, his whole argument was that he was a patriot. Godse was a patriot. So I was like, you're just normalizing him. You're just normalizing what he did. He killed a 78-year-old man at the end of the day in cold blood. He's like, oh, but why? By the way, Gandhi did normalize Abdul Rashid and the killer of Swami Shraddhananda, and bore command responsibility for thousands of septa and octogenarians killed on the way to prayer. So I was like, wait, what is he saying? Where is he getting this from? So I traced it back. It's from Swarajya. Vikram Sampath, the historian who has written a book on Savarkar, he has done this. He has basically extracted events from the past where Gandhi has sort of normalized, in his eyes, killing. The way Gandhi normalized killing in his definition is when he was saying that a person who is committing a murder like the Shraddhananda thing, which is a Muslim killing a Hindu guy, he is also influenced by the whole Hindu-Muslim divide. And Gandhi kept reiterating that violence is not good, but you have to also understand the motivation is larger than the person themselves. So he's not really normalizing, he's giving a reason. Now, to use that and then paint Gandhi as someone normalizing killing, and therefore he should die. Not really saying he should die, but then saying...
that's a dog whistle. Parliament, lots happened. Quickly, tell us what all happened, and we can take on each of those issues one by one.
We are going to discuss primarily two things.
Okay.
One happened in Parliament, which is the Transgender Bill. It was passed. But the other thing we are going to discuss, which was not really happening in Parliament, which is a draft bill that has been put out, which is going to affect a lot of people in the news industry.
Okay. So let's go with the Transgender Bill first. What is the objection to it? Why is the government saying that we've done a very progressive thing, but LGBTQ activists saying no, you've not?
So the Transgender Bill has a very interesting history as well, right? And I've done an episode on in Constitution Season 1, which is behind a paywall, so subscribers can actually watch it. It's on Private Members Bill, so you take a look at that. What happened is I think since 1978, no Private Members Bill was passed, and the one that was passed was Transgender Bill. That happened in 2015, and the interesting thing is it was passed in Rajya Sabha. It went to Lok Sabha, and for literally years they kept blocking it by bringing in some nonsense debates in and not letting it come to the floor of the House for discussion. And what they did was parallelly they started drafting their own bill and introduced it in Lok Sabha. Now that is not cool, because if a bill on a subject already exists in Parliament, you can't have another parallel bill going on which is being presented. But the bill that the Bharatiya Janata Party government has introduced does a few things. I'll just quickly explain, right? One is it prohibits discrimination against transgender persons in educational institutions, government establishments, and purchasing property, etc. But it does not explicitly say what counts as discrimination, right?
Okay.
For instance, in case of caste discrimination, there is a clear-cut what all acts count as discrimination. Here, nothing.
Okay.
Plus, there is no penalty for that in the bill, right? So there is no punishment. Now, the most problematic thing is recognition of identity. Now, the transgender community has been saying that it should be a self-recognition system. किसी को मुझे certificate घंटा देगा मुझे कोई, right? I mean, I am saying I'm a transgender person. What the fuck are you going to certify? That is their stand. Now, this bill, what it says is that you have to go to a magistrate and receive an identity certificate, and their certificate shall confer rights and to be a proof of recognition of their identity as a transgender person. So their thing is, you have reduced our gender and identity to a body, which is being strutted around naked in front of a magistrate, because the magistrate कैसे decide करेगा? Will he look at organs or will he look at your face?
How dumb, man.
That's so dumb. Then the other thing, which is the penalties are there for physical and sexual abuse, but then again, most transgender committees, like Derek raised a good point there, that a lot of transgender people are forced into begging, but and prostitution, right? एक तो prostitution illegal है. A lot of activists are saying nowadays that sort of respect is there for them, even in the prostitution community, till a point that they're paying taxes. They're earning from begging and whatever. That's true. The harassment has gone down because within the transgender community there is now an understanding that you go ask for money, but you don't harass people.
Sure.
And you can see that everywhere in the streets as well. Their behavior has changed, right? What they're saying is, ideally we want to be recognized for who we are. We do not want a certificate for our gender or whatever.
Understood. So that is the basic thing. It's become this आप अपना get it triplicate में करो, फिर notarize
Also
कराओ,
silly, like
authorize
how
करो.
much
I mean, this is, I'll just tell you a story
And
of a friend of mine who has got an autistic
second,
child.
just one more important point that they're asking for is reservations. So they want reservations
haven't
in, which is not there. Anyway, go on.
So she has an autistic child. Now they have set up a trust that after their death, there will be trustees and they will take care of my son. Okay. Now they want a certificate
That the child is autistic.
that child is an autist. So they are giving a certificate of mentally challenged boy,
But not autism.
but not autist.
But not on?
Not autism.
Not an
This is-
autism.
Which are two different things.
Autism is not mentally challenged. It is affecting the parents so much to call their child mentally challenged.
It's more
And hell of a problem. I mean, they are not getting a certificate, magistrate or whatever.
Sir, I know of this one case here in the school near our office only, which is refusing to. There is a legal provision that if a child has certain disability, which it is defined in the law, then the child does not have to do math in the 8th or 9th. I think some of the things, if he's dyslexic or they have some other, if there's physical ailments, there's some certain, what is the prescribed compulsory, क्या कहते हैं, what is syllabus, is there are some exceptions for that. They said, we can give it, but you get the certificate from the government. The government says the school is authorized to do it themselves. And the parent is running from one to the other. And he's saying it's so humiliating for the child.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's
the fuck, man, I hate this.
It's absolutely. And so, the one big
So
problem
these guys
with
get a certificate.
I think it's deeply, and I think Meghnad's point that how will you check, for those of you who don't know, till the 60s, Olympics, whether you were a man or a woman, was done through an underwear parade. Male doctors would examine women who were lined up in their underwear to check whether they were women. This I got to know when I heard that podcast in Radio Lab on Duti Chand. So, I mean, how is the magistrate going to do it? I mean, really?
Exactly. And the one thing you have to understand is the whole lawmaking process is so fucking male dominated. It's crazy. Like when men make laws about women, they're insensitive. When men make laws about transgender LGBTQ women, they're inhuman. Right? And that is, they reduce them to this, not even an identity. They reduce them to these human flesh and bones, and how do we treat them now? It's horrifying.
सुन लिया अफ्रीका मुफत खोरों. Not to brag or anything, but Newslaundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All Newslaundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.